Laying track to make this curve work just about broke me. Hello and welcome to the Stover Farm channel. I'm so glad to have you here with me, and we have got to keep this train rolling down the track. Yep, this is a custom tunnel that I just built on no man's land, and I wanted to give you all a look at it. This train pack is so awesome. If you haven't seen the first video, I highly recommend you do so. I go through all of the mods that JWeezy released for Mac and PC that are placeable train tracks, locomotives, and train cars. It's amazing. You do not have to go into the Giants editor and script your own train. You can just drag and drop right on any map in the game. And speaking of any map, this is No Man's Land, one of my absolute favorite maps to just build whatever the heck you want. I've spent a significant amount of time on this map making what I'm calling Convoy, Ohio, and northwestern city in Ohio, and we now have train tracks because No Man's Land never had a train, but it does now. And you can see the tracks. We've got a switching yard that we just passed over. It moves all the way over to the edge of the map. We've got a tunnel that I built. How did we do this? Well, we have to cheat a few things. It's kind of a tunnel, but it's kind of not. So I've used some bridge packs. Those are available on the in-game mod hub. And then I'm using some concrete walls. And if we fly in here between the trees, which do a pretty good job of disguising it when you're not really paying attention, you can see how we've done it. So we basically created a valley, and then I laid down those really nice brick bridges. Got that great arch to them, and I also added some lights. There's a light pack. This stuff was all public, and I believe even all platform. But the train pack's not all platform, so I don't know. I don't know if you are happy about that or not. I know you're probably not, and again, I'm sorry. I know, console, I've been there. I get it. I get the frustration. But back to this tunnel. So, again, you can't just download the tunnel and drop it. You've got to build it yourself, and that's exactly what I did in the map editor. Again, not in Giants editor. We're doing this all in game because I don't have access to Giants editor. I can't go in and script and build my own maps. I have to make them in the map editor. So there's some walls. You can see we cut a trench. I backfilled as much as possible. These are like tunnel buildings that I put down, and they were all platform mods. They're in the in-game mod hub. And then I just brought all of the dirt as close as I could to those concrete walls through trees on top because, again, you can really, really hide things well with trees. And when you don't know what you're looking at, it's pretty convincing. But the whole thing gets even cooler right here because I've got a silo pack that's available, once again, all platform on the in-game mod hub. And I'm sorry, I'm keep saying that. The train pack is not all platform, but I try and use all platform mods, and this silo pack is, which has kind of a dual layer. You bring your trucks in and you can dump into the pit, and then a secondary fill area, which just happened to be exactly the right width for the trains to go through. I did have to raise it up a little bit, and I've got some concrete K-rails right there just to make it look not as stupid as it did floating in the air. But here's what you can do with it, because yes, the train works. You can load it, and you can transport goods. And you can also sell goods out of the train. Let me show you how. So after grabbing a little ice cream at Dairy Queen, you've got your Wilson trailer filled with soybeans. You hop in your Pete, and you want to go take it to the silo. At the silo, you unload just like you normally would. It dumps into the pit. But we're not selling anything right here. Usually, I have sell all points put in, like, the center of town. That just allows me to sell everything. In this case, I'm actually using a real silo. And this Wilson really unloads slow. It's got 2 hoppers in it. We'll unload both of them. We'll let it do its thing. Okay, and while it's doing its thing, we'll jump out and we'll run over to the train yard, which is over here. And we'll jump in our CSX locomotive, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars, 2 tankers. I think I've got... We'll have to see what I've got in those. And I don't remember the model of train. This is a... Electromotive CSX SD60M. Again, thank you so much for everyone that are fans of trains, helping me out, schooling me on this. I'm not well-versed in trains, but I am absolutely loving playing with this pack. So we're on the locomotive. We've got, let's see, we have... I think I've got, yeah, I've got soybeans in here as well, and I've got some type of liquid. I don't know if it's like canola oil or whatnot, but let's head over. Let's fill up the rest of these hoppers. I found the horn button, too. And no, I wasn't able to get the crossings to work with the train. You actually have to jump out and turn them on. But that's okay. And you still absolutely have to be extremely careful as you're making these curves, because it is quite easy to derail your train. You can see those cars hopping around in the back there. Yeah. It got real problematic over on that like circular part that I made. Fingers crossed I don't tip one over. I also found that sound. So here's what we could do. You would jump out and you could turn these on manually. Again, I don't know of any other way to do it, but you could turn these on manually and they do drop down. Now, I need to make sure this switch is in the right position. Is it? Yes. So we're going to go to the left. We're going to go underneath that fill and fill up the rest of these bins, or I should say cars. So inside the locomotive, you'll see that we're following the track. Again, this has trucks on below the cars and the locomotive. They are following the track perfectly. That's why you've got to go very slow. Cannot run this thing through a curve at like 50 miles an hour. So the peat is probably finished unloading, and we'll pull underneath, and maybe we'll put it in that second car. I built all this in the in-game map editor, not in Giant's editor building this out. This was done in-game with mods. All right, we're going to start filling, and we are filling, as you can see, soybeans. I have no clue how much I had in there, but I think each of these rail cars holds 200,000 liters. We'll just go ahead and fill it up. All right, that's good enough. Let's stop filling. Let's start rolling. So back in the train, here we go. It would be cool to get, I think, some different types of horns. I've listened to some YouTube videos of different trains, and I agree. Definitely some different horn sounds would be cool. So now we cruise down the track, and I've made this extra long because we go basically center of the map, out to the edge of the map, kind of around the edge of the map, and then all the way back up to the northern part of the map. So you really do get like the sense that you're operating a train for a fairly long time. That switch is open. I've got a little area to pull off. Again, you can't just take a train and turn it around like you do a car. You've got to think logistics, and it's difficult. It's complicated. This pack is spectacular, though. It takes a little bit of getting used to. You definitely need to download JWeezy's update to Easy Dev. It increases the weight capacity of super strength because these locomotives are so heavy. The base game Easy Dev super strength will not lift them. We'll get a little bit of speed here as we go down through the valley. We're getting out into the middle of nowhere, and we're headed to the sell point. And I do want to slow down. Again, you've got to be very cognizant of your speed. Going around curves, you will derail. So here's one sell point that I could use. And you can just roll over it like this. And just like any normal emptying of a sell point, you start overloading your soybeans, and those go right through the bottom. We're getting money for them. They're dumping right through the track. And we're getting a ton of money. So those were the soybeans, and this was a sell point specifically for grains. I'm going to take you further down the track and see if the sell point, that is the sell all point, will also sell the tankers that are full of canola oil, I think. So getting ready to go through the tunnel. Again, if you didn't know how we made it, it's convincing. It's not perfect, but it's convincing. Hear the echo? Really, really cool. I love how, since we're going through a building right now, there's echo. And the little lights are working. We can turn off our locomotive lights, and you can see those functioning. And we're just cruising through this building right here. Again, concrete walls on both sides, and then that tunnel structure on top that just makes it work. And you can see how I did some of the going into the landscaping tool, trying to flatten things. Some of it was kind of coming through. it was not easy, but I think it turned out really, really nice. Just turn my lights back on, go back into cab. Now we're coming out, you can see the other side. Not a very large tunnel, but I mean, maybe, I don't know, quarter mile long, half mile long. Better than having to just cut out the land. We can actually get some speed here. Full throttle, drives just like a car, but it's very, very slow. So, I mean, we're moving, but we're not going very fast. So there's 25. And you could put as many cars on the train as you want, as long as you've got the power to pull it. And you can stack locomotives, too. So really only up to about 25 miles an hour on this backstretch. But you can see up ahead we're coming to the next sell point that is up here. And this is a sell-all point. So we'll see if this works. I know, I'm fairly certain it will work for the grain, but I want to see if it works for these liquid tanker cars. I got to start my braking early. That was probably way too late. Really heavy on the brakes. Okay. So we're going to pull up, and just like in a vehicle, I'm going to tab to my next trailer. We'll see if it... Yep, there we go. So we're going to start overloading. So those are going to dump in, still getting money. This is going to be the interesting part. I don't know if it's going to sell the liquid that's in here or not. If it does, that's amazing. If it doesn't, no hard feelings. At least we can sell grain. Let that get out. There we go. Now the moment of truth. So let's pull up. That is awesome. It's working. So now all of our, whatever this is, canola oil, it is overloading as well. We're getting money for it. So, base game, you've got trains on certain maps. You just don't have the customization that you've got now with this mod. And you traditionally have to call the train, get in the train, and then take it somewhere and it goes off the map and then it sells. You can actually sell now and control the train right here on No Man's Land or any map you wish. That was awesome, and that was $273,000 worth of product. So, I gotta make sure the switch is right. Hold on, because you gotta go... Forgot about that. I came through here doing some testing, and this is where things got really sketchy. Very, very sketchy. So the switch right now, yeah, see, that would have taken me to the left. I want to go counterclockwise around this. I think it's smoother the way I built it. Because, again, we're laying down, as you're building these, you're laying down these this track, and you're trying to butt it up oh so perfectly. And you can see where, yeah, I'm off a little bit right there. I couldn't get it perfect because of this curve. Like, it was tough. So I thought, you know, what the heck, let's just give it a try. Let's see if the train will do it. And it did. Let's see if I can do it a second time. So the switch is now ready for us to go forward. Let's hop back in. Go forward. And I just added kind of an old farm out here. This is where we're building my dream farm, but I thought, instead of having just a boring area in the center of the circle, we'd put a farm. I'm calling this Old Man Weller's farm. Old Man Weller, good man, here in the state of Ohio. Let's see if we make this curve. Again, I'm going to go maybe 10 miles an hour around this curve. I know it might be kind of boring. It's slow. but I do not want to derail. So what are the other things you can do with this? Well, you've got flatbed trailers, so you could transport vehicles. You could transport tractors. You could do just a ton of role play. There's commuter rail. You could set up a commuter rail system or pretend that, you know, your city has, I don't know, an Amtrak in it. You've got train yards. You can do, I think it's called shunting of trains around. There is not a carousel yet. I'm sure someone may come up with that. That would be awesome. So it is quite difficult to actually turn your train around. You end up having to just get out and flip it around. But watch, instead of me talking, let me go slow, and I'm going to zoom in on these trucks, and I think you'll be able to see them as they're navigating this curve. And you'll start to see some of the imperfections that I actually got in them. But I think the mod handles it really, really well, as long as you go slow. Things are bouncing a little bit back there. Don't derail on me. Nope, she's doing it. Just going slow. Okay, this is where I derailed the locomotive, right here. On this little part where it kind of turns left and then goes back. But I seem to have gotten through it. Yes. Oh, we gotta change the switch. Forgot. If we didn't change the switch, we would have derailed. So let's change the switch back over. And there we go. Now we've basically just made a full turn. Nice and slow, coming back onto the main track. Give it a little toot of the horn. And I think we're in good shape. We're back on the main track. We made it all the way around safely. No derailments. Let's see how fast we can get this thing going down this track. And maybe I'll show you what a derailment looks like. So here we go. Big finale, full throttle, 25 miles an hour. We're going to see if we derail inside the tunnel. Here we go. You can hear the tracks a-clacking. 30. $37. Coming up to the tunnel. How badly are we going to derail here? 40. We're coming in hot. Thousands of tons here, folks. We're coming into the tunnel. How bad is this going to be? Let's see if we derail. I'm pretty certain we will. 46. Oh, yeah, right off. Ooh, not good. Not good. So I'll take you out and show you what happened here. Trucks came completely off the tracks. We're stuck now. We had a car uncouple. Let's see if I can even jump over here. Yeah, we had a car uncouple. Oh, boy, this isn't good back here either. And that one completely tipped over. So there you go. There's another thing that you could do with this pack, is you could do some emergency services. Really not a joking matter when it comes to derailments. We've had far too many issues here in the United States recently to make it something to joke about. But you can see some really cool physics on this very cool mod set. Thank you so much for checking this out with me tonight. I just had to show you some of the progress here in Convoy with this new train set. Dude, this is like now a train simulator. It is awesome. We'll see you next time, right here on the farm with the Stovers.